So we have a special guest this morning, Benjamin Aysan. He is the director of Erie's Turkish Cultural Center, and he is also a calligraphy artist. We'll also be honoring the graduating seniors, members of our congregation. Next slide. So get your bells ready, and we're going to have just a wonderful moment of cacophony where the ushers will unmute all of us as we ring our bells. With the sound of bells, we welcome stranger and friend to a time of mindfulness. You can stop the screen share and everybody unmute and ring your bells.
Oh, there's Howard and Janet. Look at Howard's beard.
And now, what will happen next is we'll keep everybody muted again, and Bryan Head will lead us. We'll sing the welcoming song.
Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you.
We're unmuted now. Bryan, you're muted.
Yes, everybody should be muted now except for Bryan Head. And Bryan, will you start the song again? Unmute yourself and
Unmute yourself, Bryan.
start the welcoming song.
Was I muted through the whole thing?
No, we just had a little technical glitch, that's all.
Okay, all right. Take two. Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you.
Thank you, Bryan. All right, Christine, if we can bring up the next slide. So what will happen next is we will have two quotes being read as the opening words. If you want to go back one slide, go back there, Christine. There we go. So Danieh Foltz will read a quote, and then followed by Siegrid Tuttle also reading a short quote for our opening words. Following that will be the prelude, played by Jackson Froman, and then Hannah will lead us in the chalice lighting. And Christine, you can stop screen share, and Danae, share the opening words.
But the soul has no culture. The soul has no nations. The soul has no color or accent or way of life. The soul is forever. The soul is one. And when the heart has its moment of truth and sorrow, the soul cannot be stilled.
Thank you, Danae. And Siegrid?
Anything worth dying for is certainly worth living for. Catch-22.
Yes, that was written by Joseph Heller from the novel Catch-22. And Danny's wonderful quote was from the novel Shantaram, by Gregory David Roberts. And the prelude, Jackson. Thank you, Jackson. Hannah?
Open your arms to change, but don't let go of your values. The Dalai Lama.
Thank you. And now we have our bonds of union. And we'll start with the children's bond that will be led via video by Matthew and Lily McGuire.
We are Unitarian, Universalist, a people of open minds, loving hearts, and welcoming hands.
And Clyde Wolper will lead the 1898 bond. And Clyde will be unmuted. The rest of us will stay muted, but we ask that everybody recite it along with Clyde.
We unite ourselves together for the study and practice of morality and religion, as interpreted by the growing thought and noblest lives of humanity, believing that we may thereby prove helpful one to another and promote the cause of truth, righteousness, and love in the world.
Thank you, Clyde. So now I'd like to pass it over to Candace Williams, our Director of Religious Education. She has a presentation she would like to share with everybody. And Christine is getting that presentation ready to roll whenever you want, Candace. Would you like to say a few words?
I sure would. Thank you, Kelly. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. Today is the official end of the RE program for this year, and although it didn't end quite as we expected, I still wanted to take a little time today to express my thanks to all of you who gave so much of your time and energy to help expand the minds of our youth. There are plans in the work for next year, and although it probably won't be a traditional RE program, I'm still going to need some volunteers. So if you are willing and able and you get a moment and you think about it, please get in contact with me so that I can start seeing who we're going to have to be able to have as volunteers for next year. Now we have a little slideshow to say thank you from all the RE kids, and thank you volunteers. We really couldn't do this program without you.
And Jackson, if you could give us a little music while we look at the slides, that would be great. Christine, if you want to move your cursor or something, there seems to be a black thing in the middle of your, yeah, if you get, there's another black bar, yeah, if you move that, we could see the slides better. There we go. Thanks. Thank you to all those people that made our program so extraordinary. And thank you, Candace, for your leadership. So the next thing that will happen is we'll have a presentation about calligraphy. We'll first have a little musical interlude by Pat Lori. Then I will tell you a little bit about Benjamin Aysan and how I've gotten to know him, especially over the months. And then he will share his own artistic journey, followed by another musical interlude. And then Benjamin will share three different works of calligraphy and talk about them in a bit of detail. And then we will close with a final refrain of a saxophone solo by Pat Lorai. All right, Pat, take it away. Thank you, Pat. So, Christine, if you can start the PowerPoint. So Benjamin Aysan came to Erie 5 years ago to direct the Turkish Cultural Center here in Erie. And he is also an active member of One Table. And I think we can consider him one of Erie's religious leaders. But I got to know him as an artist. And a few years ago, I saw him demonstrating at Celebrate Erie, and I was impressed. I said, this is a credible calligraphy artist. But then the following year, I saw him working again, and I found his work extraordinary, that he had made this huge leap from being a decent calligraphy artist to being a really, really fine calligraphy artist. And I had the pleasure of working with him with 3 different schools now, where he shares his art and his culture. So the next slide, Christine. So Benjamin is a Muslim, and calligraphy, or the calligraphy, has very deep roots with the faith of Islam. So Muslims learn the Quran in Arabic, no matter what their mother tongue is, no matter what their native language is. You learn the Quran in Arabic. And it's true that there are translations of the Quran in many, many different languages. And those are to help people understand and to introduce the Quran to people who don't know Arabic. But when part of the Muslim faith is hearing the Quran in Arabic and learning to read it in Arabic. So there is a real sacredness between the Arabic language and the Quran. As the Muslims believe, that is the language that the Prophet Muhammad received the Quran from Allah. The next slide. Now, truth be told, I never really thought much about calligraphy until working with Benjamin. And I now think about it all the time. It is a fascinating art form, unlike no other. And in many ways, you could see it's almost multidisciplinary art form. I used to think of calligraphy in, well, I admit it, a kind of a shallow way. Think of it, it's writing very pretty. But I think true calligraphy artists, it's much deeper than that. One thing that strikes me about Benjamin is his profound humility. So, and when I say profound humility, I don't mean that he just puts himself down. No, that's not true humility. I think that he understands his place in the universe as being profoundly important, but also profoundly small. Sort of like a star in the sky, shining beautifully amongst all the other stars in the sky. And I think that Benjamin's profound humility is partly due to the fact of his love of wisdom. And calligraphy is his expression of his love of powerful and healing words. I think Benjamin Aysan is really a servant to wisdom. Next slide. So he has been working with me and about another 10 artists who all come from Muslim majority countries. This is through a grant that Erie Arts and Culture received from the Doris Duke Foundation for Islamic Art. And this grant charges Erie Arts and Culture, and me in particular, to work with these artists to help them share their art and their culture more broadly with the public in Erie. And it has been really a blessing for me to be able to work with these artists, and especially Benjamin, because he brings his love and his sense of humor and this truly wonderful art form with lots of different people. And I have a final video to share. This is a video that Benjamin took of himself. Watching Benjamin write calligraphy is hypnotizing. If you can move to the next slide, Christine, to the video. It is hypnotizing to watch him work. And this is just a little taste of him at work. It is truly, calligraphy is a performance. There's no going back and remixing the paints or erasing what you've done. You have to be in the proper state of mind when you're doing it. And I think Benjamin would say that truly calligraphy for him is a practice. So it is a bit of performance art as well as being visual art. And it is truly extraordinary to watch him work. And this only comes from the thousands and thousands of hours of practice. Yeah. All right, you can stop the screen share now, Christine, and we'll give the Zoom screen over to Benjamin to talk about his artistic journey.
Is my open? Okay. My sound is okay? Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is, thank you actually first, my friend Kelly, and thank you, your church, to having me, invite me, your wonderful worship and celebrating this morning time. I really excited. That's not my first time joining in a church program Sunday mornings, but on virtual, on the Zoom, that's my first time, as you most of has. My name is Benjamin Aysan. I am the director of Erie Turkish Cultural Center, and I am the volunteering imam at my cultural center to my community. And actually, I'm a former chemistry teacher. I have different titles, and I'm a calligrapher. So, what does the what does the calligraphy mean? Calligraphy is it means came from the wood. The source of the words came from the Greece history. It means the good handwriting. So actually, calligraphy is the well-known, the most ancient and the most respected art in the history. It's derived from the different cultures and derived from the different communities and the nations and actually the language. Because the written history is starting with writing. The written history is starting with writing, and the calligraphy is most important art in the history. And you can find many different kind of calligraphy types, especially in Chinese calligraphy that is well known all around the world. And they are really excited when you start to watch them. Because I think a couple years ago, we had an celebrating day in Harrisburg capital, and then we invite the most many different diversity cultures to celebrating day in Capitol Hill in Harrisburg, and that's my first time see my name written by in Chinese calligraphy. And then I really excited, but I didn't understand what they write on the paper. But watching there and the artist's effort on the paper, what kind of pen that they use, really excited me. And I make a re-gift to the artist, writing her name, and she told me that it is so talented and excited me that show my name in italic letters like that. So the calligraphy, actually, I start in this journey around 7 years ago in Salt Lake City, Utah, when we had a big master artist came from Turkey to visit our friendship dinner, and he is a host artist to write the people who joined us that night, their names on a special designed papers. And I get more advice him, and my journey started. I forgot how many times I joined as an artist, the friendship dinners, activities, fairs, festivals, and special activities like that. But be an artist, if you say, yes, I am done, I am the master right now, it means that you are not. Most of you guys, let me tell you anything that make you relaxed, because most of you maybe watch the Johnny English, the movie Johnny English. The first part of this movie, when Johnny English get training a monk from a monk at the top of the hill in a big ancient places, and he wants to ask his master, am I ready? He said, no. Because all the artists think like that, I am not ready. Because your readiness is going to be answered from your friends and who would like to see your art. They are going to give the decision, yes, this is good or not. Because I saw almost like that, always see myself like that. And in Islamic art, the calligraphy, which is the side of my faith, actually calligraphy is Islamic art, and began in the 7th century, when the Islam is spread all around the world, started to spread around the world. And then it is really important because at the first years of when the Islam is spread and the start, there is no any chance to memorizing everything, and they start to write the verses on the small papers to memorize and keep their mind. And then it start like that. And after the when it reached the history to the Ottoman era, it means it comes with a good decoration. They decorate the all inside of the worship centers, worship places, and the prayer rooms, and actually the inside of the mosque. Islam art doesn't portray figures of animals and the humans because of the any religious reasons. So the calligraphy take this place, and it has the chance of the decoration everywhere with calligraphy. And I have right now using the modern calligraphy right now, because in Turkey right now it has two kind of different calligraphy types. The first is modern calligraphy, and the second one is Islamic calligraphy. Islamic calligraphy is always used the Ottoman letters and the Arabic letters, and it is high talented and high decorated. You can give your many years, be a starting master, not a real master, because you always see a different kind of the finished artworks, and you can tell yourself, hey, I didn't think it before. Can you see the curve? How can the artist give the writing? How can he did? I didn't think it before. Let me try to myself my new artworks. And it is really needs more patience than the modern calligraphy, Islamic art calligraphy. In modern calligraphy, they use the normal as we use the normal letters, italic letters, and different type of the font, type of the font of the italic letters, and with the contemporary decorations and the contemporary demonstrations. So I have today three different to explain my work, artworks. Kelly, do you have chance to?
Yes, let's hear
Yeah.
a little music. We'll take a little break and then we'll bring up the PowerPoint and you can talk about them. Thank you, that was wonderful. Thank you, Pat. All right, Christine, we can bring up the next slide that shows the first of Benjamin's pieces that he'll talk about.
So I have right now telling about my artworks, three different pieces. This quote came from Celaleddin Rumi. We call it in Turkish Mevlana. Let me read in Turkish first and make a try to make the translate to you and what's the meaning. It says in Turkish, yüzde ısrar etme, 90 da olur, insan dediğinde noksan da olur, sakın büyüklenme elde neler var, bir ben varım deme, yoksan da olur. So it means, it wanna says, don't be insist doing everything 100% correctly. If you can do in 90%, that is enough too. You don't need to do it everything correctly, because what you have, everything came from God. You don't have anything. Then you don't need to be trust yourself. Yes, I can do everything myself without the God willings because I have the power. That is not the way. And it means at the end of the last sentence, if you are not exist, there is not going to be a big problem all the world, because you need existence. Yes, that is the like that. And the next one, please. So I really thank so much to my friend Kelly, because I always try to encourage to myself, yes, I can be going to be a good calligraphy master at future. I don't know going to be or not. She told me that, why don't you write in Arabic? I don't have any talent but I have just some of talent art from my middle school, and awarded all maybe 400 students in the school, my middle age. But I don't have talented, because it is, as we said, it is really needs more talented and more patient and more times, many more than the modern calligraphy. Arabic calligraphy has more rules. But I make more practice during 1 year, and this is shown a picture like that. It means in Arabic, the meaning in English, nothing. It's nothing. So what does it means in Islamic culture and traditions and between the people when they talk each other? It means that what you have, anything, what you have, it means you don't have that, the own, the real person. Everything what you have comes from God. You don't have to show anything that the real, as a real owner. Just be humble, it means. Thank you. And the other one, please. Yeah, that is what I write when you read. That is the reasons our real big problem as we face it again during the couple weeks. Yeah, we are all different shades of the same color, and the color is humanity. So I would like to say a real so good quote from a cleric scholar, Islamic cleric scholar, Mr. Fethullah Gulen, who lives in Pennsylvania, and he said like that. He is our spiritual leader that for all the organizations, and he said, "First, I am a human, then a Muslim." That is explains everything, my friend, my friends. Yeah. Because when we try to make conversation or try to interact each other, if we are going to put first time our priorities, depends on our culture or our backgrounds. For example, you can make this quotes many different types. You can say, first, I am a human, then a Christian. First, I am a human, then a Jewish. First, I am a human, then an, you can say very clearly LGBTQ. That's okay. First, I am human, then you can make the closer group. First, I am human, then a male, then a female, then a kid. That is because this is so important. Because God created, we believe like that, God created all the universe starting with using the love. If you can't know the meaning of the love, how can you react each other and your colleagues and your friends and your neighborhood? Because love is the key of all the closed doors. Because if you can use the key of love, and you can open the most of the doors which is closed on your face or on your sides around you. And that is the meaning what I want to touch, because the Black Lives Matters. And as an artist, that is my ability that show my react all around us on during 2 weeks. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Benjamin. Pat? Thank you, Pat. And thank you, Benjamin. Benjamin, that was a wonderful, wonderful presentation. It is both filled with great insight and great humility. It's an honor to have you with us. So the Sunday Services Committee decided that it would be important to honor our graduating seniors this year. That typically in a normal year, we would be able to hug them and shake their hands and tell them at coffee hour how proud we are of them, and we could share it in joys and concerns, and they would have their typical array of pomp and circumstance and parties and celebrations that it's all been rudely taken away from them because of the pandemic. So the Sunday Service Committee decided to commission Benjamin to do calligraphy for each one of our graduating seniors. And we asked them what quote they would like written in calligraphy. So Christine, if you can bring up the first quote. And Logan Blount is just graduated from collegiate high school. And this is a particularly fitting quote for these times. So Logan, will you talk a little bit about this quote or the book it came from?
Oh, yes, thank you very much. I really enjoyed this book when I was growing up, and it meant a lot when I was having a personal hard time. And so I thought the quote makes a lot more sense now that the world's going through a sort of hard time. And just that we can look ahead to something brighter.
Yes, that is. Behind every exquisite thing that existed, there was something tragic. And it is that yin yang, isn't it? Between everything beautiful has something in it that is that duality that plays between the tragedy and the positivity is very, I think we can all feel that very much right now. So thank you, Logan. And our next quote comes from the Dalai Lama, and Hannah shared it as our chalice lighting. Hannah is graduating from McDowell High School this year. Hannah, will you say a few words about this?
Well, first off, thank you so much. That looks really cool. But I've never really actually had like a personal quote or motto, but I thought that this was really fitting for where I am in my life right now, because, you know, I'm about to go into college and kind of go into the quote unquote real world, and I have no idea what I'm going to come across, what's going to come my way. And so it's important to be open, as the quote says, but to keep holding my core values.
Roots hold me close, wings set me free. In other words, yes, the Dalai Lama, open your arms to change, but don't let go of your values. Yes, and indeed that duality, keeping both, is really important as you chart your way through unknown territory. So thank you, Hannah. And we have Siegrid Tuttle is graduating from Fairview High School. And Siegrid, anything worth dying for is certainly worth living for. Would you say a few words about this?
Yeah, this is a quote from the novel Catch-22, which you might know from the term Catch-22. And in the book, it's said because this American soldier is having an argument with a citizen in Rome who's just like trying to survive the war. And the soldier says, anything worth living for is certainly worth dying for. And just trying to like survive says, well, anything worth dying for is certainly worth living for. And what?
Keep going.
And I think that I really liked the idea that the reason we live is for these greater goals in life, and that we don't have to die for them. We can give our lives for them.
Yeah. Yes, that's truly profound and very true. That let's strive for living for our dreams instead of for dying for them, right? Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Siegrid. And our last quote comes from Danieh Foltz from the novel Shantaram. But the soul has no culture. The soul has no nations. The soul has no color or accent or way of life. The soul is forever. The soul is one. And when the heart has its moment of truth and sorrow, the soul can't be stilled. Danieh, why don't you tell us about this?
First of all, thank you. And this comes from the novel Shantaram, which I read in high school, and it was and still is one of my favorite books. And I picked this for a couple different reasons. First of all, I mean, the first part of it just boils down to what we mentioned earlier, like everyone, regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, is just we're all human. And that's something that I focus on in the work that I'm doing right now. And then the second part of it, I just feel like, you know, it means like the work that you do, like when you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're gonna know, like you're gonna feel that in yourself. And that's something really important to me and something that I strive for in the work that I do, is to be fulfilled and know that like the work that you're doing is making a difference and is helping you like also grow as a person. So
That's beautiful. Again, it sort of relates to what Benjamin was talking about before, is how our shared humanity transcends so much. And that is really beautiful to know that this sort of charts, it helps you chart your course, and it's kind of a mission statement of sorts for the work you're doing. Danieh is doing this great work in with human rights and justice work, and she has just graduated from Juniata College in central Pennsylvania. So if you can perhaps, Christine, stop the screen share for just a moment, and if you have a chance to everybody can put it into gallery view, which is in the top upper right hand portion of your screen. If you've got a computer, and I think if you swipe left on your mobile phone, you can move into gallery view or see more people. So what I would like us all to do is to wave our hands in great celebration of all of our graduating seniors, to show them that we hear them and we love them and we wish them well on the next chapter of their lives. And we thank you for the profound things you have shared with us this morning, and we will continue to expect great things from you. All right. And Christine, we can bring back the PowerPoint. And Clyde, I'll let you introduce Joys and Concerns.
Okay. During the music, we invite everyone to type a few words using the chat box. You don't need to have a particular joy or sorrow. Simply type in a few words about how you're feeling. Please do not directly respond to anyone's entry. It's our job to simply bear witness to each other's feelings. Okay, it looked like some people are feeling more hopeful this week, and especially after the George Floyd demonstrations, which is great. I'm feeling the same way, especially after yesterday, after the demonstration downtown. More congratulations for the graduates. Yeah, it looks like a good week. And people are spending more time with their family, which is great. If anybody has a joy or concern that they wish to speak aloud, they can let us know, or if you like to say something over the phone, hit *9.
Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Clyde. Christine, if we can bring back the PowerPoint. Well, as we wind down the service, we have a few more elements. And we'll hear some closing words by Stephen Skaggs. Then we'll extinguish our chalices and ring the bells. And then Jackson will play the postlude. And during the postlude, this is a time that you can use the chat box to list any announcements you have. And this is also a time you can hit *9 if you're on a phone and you want to speak an announcement. So our closing words are from Stephen Skaggs, who is a graphic design professor at the University of Louisville, Kentucky. And he says, he's also done great research into calligraphy and is a calligrapher as well. He says, music comes alive. Oh, I'm sorry, Freudian slip. Marks come alive when they are made with a sense of confidence, engagement, an unself-conscious tap into the flow that is somehow beyond yet also within the calligrapher. When that happens, and all of you know it when it happens, the calligrapher becomes an instrument. The egotistic wall between self and other dissolves, page, mind, and world unite. And we'll extinguish our chalices to the words by Deborah Burrow, UU from Birmingham, Alabama. We have basked in the warmth and beauty of this flame and this community. As the chalice flame is extinguished, let us carry its glow within. Let us kindle new sparks within these walls and beyond. And we can unmute everybody to ring our bells, and followed by that, we'll hear the postlude.
Let's get back on mute.
And the postlude.
All right, yeah, I just get to. Is this all right? La la la. Okay, here we go. So I have a bunch of songs that I write, and then they're on my Facebook. So if you're like, I like that, and go on the Facebook and check it out. There you go. You never gave me a chance When I said I was hoping to marry her, I wanted real romance. That's why I came to elope with America. She's the one that I love. I wanted to kiss the ground I was living on. Before you take this patriot away, just tell me what I'm doing wrong. 'Cause baby, I'm the one who'll cross the line every time, every time, every time. I'll be the one to cross the line for her. My daughter does what she can. She just changed her name to Jessica. She's living in the heartland, 2,000 miles away from Mexico. She's being all she can be, but that ain't enough for the teachers in her school. Cannot wait, this patriot is late, and you can catch another fool. 'Cause baby, I'm the one who cross the line every time, every time, every time. I'll be the one to cross the line for her, cross the line for her. I'm the one who'll cross the line every time, every time, every time. I'll be the one to cross the line for her, cross the line for her, cross the line for her, cross the line for her. There you go.
Thank you, Jackson. That was fabulous. All right. So if you can bring up the last slide there, Christine. And we had a bunch of announcements in the chat box. I don't know, Clyde, if you're ready to sum those up. There's a bunch of things there. And while you're collecting those thoughts, Clyde, I'll take this moment to thank everybody who made this service possible, all of our speakers, our musicians, Pat Laurie, Bryan Head, Jackson Froman, all of our digital ushers behind the scenes, keeping things running smoothly. Christine Linke, Clyde Wolper, Diane Guthrie, Nancy Lorai, and the co-chair of the Sunday Service Committee, Dixie Morrow. Next week, Reverend Alex Holt, who is the minister at the Unitarian Congregation in Meadville, he will be delivering our presentation next week about consciousness and connection and God. And let's see, and after we're done here, we invite everybody to participate in a little breakout room where we have a chance to catch up with people in small groups. And it's a bit of luck of the draw, which is wonderful because we get to sometimes meet people we don't know as well, and we get to say hello to old friends. So Clyde, can you sum up any of the announcements?